Hey there, cats and kittens, and welcome back to another installment of DC in Depth. Today we're going to be talking about a three-part comic miniseries from 1980 called Crisis on New Genesis. Taken from the pages of Justice League of America, issues 183, 184, and 185 is the story of a triple crossover team-up between the Justice League, the Justice Society, and the New Gods of New Genesis. This video will be focusing on the first part of this story, which is issue 183. So let's get into it. Once a year, there is a gathering of the greatest superheroes from two parallel Earths. We have the Justice League of America from Earth 1 and the Justice Society from Earth 2. This year, they planned for half of the JSA to travel to Earth 1, while the other half stayed behind and greeted members from the JLA. This time, Destiny had other plans. Suddenly, we see our group of heroes transported to a place they do not recognize. The buildings are very different than what they are used to, and there is an enormous floating city up in the sky. Our heroes for this adventure consist of Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, and Firestorm from Earth 1, and Dr. Fate, Power Girl, Wonder Woman, and the Huntress from Earth 2. But these are not our versions of Wonder Woman and the Huntress. This is the Golden Age Wonder Woman, and the Huntress is in fact Helena Wayne, daughter of Earth 2's Batman, both who were erased from continuity after the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Anyway, Batman points out that something must have malfunctioned in the Transmat Cube. Not believing what he is seeing, Superman tells everyone that he knows where they are. Superman explains that they are on New Genesis, home to the New Gods. You see, he was transported here once before through a boom tube, and while his stay was short, he felt almost at home here. Superman tells Power Girl that she should understand the feeling of what it means to feel alone, because her powers are so unique compared to the other heroes. Here among the New Gods, he was amongst other beings with similar powers to himself. And unlike his time on Kandor among his own people, this place felt better because he was able to retain his powers. Power Girl asks Superman why he would leave this place at all, but Superman simply replies that we can never escape the responsibilities of our powers to ourselves. Wonder Woman finds the term New Gods odd because she has only ever acknowledged the existence of the gods of Mount Olympus and wonders why these beings are called New Gods. Superman's about to explain when Batman notices that one of them are missing. We then see Firestorm take off to explore the floating city because all that the heroes are doing are talking amongst themselves, and frankly, it's boring the crap out of them. While they are exploring, the Professor and Ronnie bicker amongst themselves. During this, Firestorm notices that the city is completely empty. As he tries to figure out where the people could have gone, he runs into a man that he does not recognize. Firestorm takes flight, calling for the others' help, when he is suddenly struck by an energy beam that brings him crashing back down to the ground. Our heroes hear the plea and take off to see what's the matter. Seconds later, the heroes spot the man over Firestorm and attack. While Dr. Fate tries to question and attack the man at the same time, we learn that the man's name is Orion the Hunter, and he answers to no mortal man. Orion shoots out an energy beam, causing an explosion towards the heroes. Batman and Huntress jump off of Green Lantern's construct, thanking him for the lift, but saying that this is their stop. Needing a diversion, Batman throws tear gas at Orion, causing him to cough repeatedly. Leaving him exposed and disoriented, Superman and Wonder Woman and Dr. Fate all strike a devastating blow, knocking Orion out. As Green Lantern catches Orion with one of his constructs, he asks if they have just won, then why does he feel so lousy? Power Girl, not feeling guilty, says not to feel bad because the altercation was provoked. Dr. Fate argues that they did arrive uninvited to this man's land, but Wonder Woman insists that this can't be the case because someone must have brought them here. As they try to piece everything together, we see a boom tube open and 4 figures arrive out of it, one of whom is sitting in a sophisticated chair. The man answers the group saying that he did. The man says that his name is Metron, and he was the advisor to Isaiah, or High Father as he is commonly known as, who was the ruler of New Genesis. With him is Scott Free, also known as Mr. Miracle, his wife Barda, aka Big Barda, and his longtime aide Oberon. Metron welcomes our heroes to his world and begs for their assistance. Power Girl sarcastically replies that they have a funny way of greeting guests on his world. Regretting what has occurred, Metron apologizes on behalf of his friend and offers to help Firestorm by healing his injuries using his Mobius chair. Firestorm is feeling better than ever and is now fully recovered after bathing in a ray of light from the Mobius chair. Metron awakes Orion and insists that he uses his mother box to recover his rationality. Orion agrees, and as the others stand around wondering what is going on, Superman asks what Metron meant by recovering his irrationality. We learn that the mother box is a form of electronic life that new gods use as a means of communicating or healing. In Orion's case, he uses it to conceal and control his heritage as the son of the most monstrous madman in the universe, his father Darkseid. Big Barda continues by saying that this is a part of the reason why Metron overrode their transmatter machine. She explains that Apocalypse has kidnapped the entire population of New Genesis and is turning them all into mindless slaves. Metron also explains that they have brought our heroes into this mess because Apocalypse has allied themselves with the Injustice Society of Earth 2. Apocalypse is as evil as it comes. With raging fire pits all throughout the planet, it thrives on despair, hatred, and to defeating innocence all throughout the cosmos. The war between Apocalypse and New Genesis threatened to consume the galaxy, and after decades of struggle, the war was won by New Genesis, or so it seemed. Our heroes all together take a boom tube to Apocalypse and split up to try to find the missing residents. Batman, Huntress, and Mr. Miracle go on ahead to scout the area. Power Girl, Orion, and Firestorm travel north to investigate the large construction site. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Barda head to the prison orphanage of Granny Goodness, where the children are most likely being held. And Green Lantern, Oberon, and Dr. Fate head towards the Shock Trooper barracks, which is south of the city, while Metron remains behind to coordinate all their efforts. Metron thinks to himself that he knows Apocalypse has kidnapped the people of New Genesis, but wonders why, which makes him very worried indeed. We see Huntress talking with Mr. Miracle, wondering why this has happened if the war was won. Mr. Miracle wonders the same thing, but explains that when he and the others returned home from their exploration mission, that the New Genesis was just abandoned. Furthermore, he says that Orion hasn't been the same since he helped destroy Darkseid, and blames himself for what has transpired. The Huntress asks, why would he feel guilty? And Miracle answers, because Darkseid was Orion's father, and saving the universe or not, he still betrayed his flesh and blood. Batman hears people coming and tells the others to be ready. Our heroes creep up on 3 Apocalyptian soldiers. Huntress throws her version of a batarang and clips one of them in the head, while Batman and Miracle take out the other 2. Their conversation continues, and Huntress understands why Orion would feel guilty, killing his own father and all. But we learn that Orion didn't kill Darkseid directly. You see, Darkseid was trying to pierce the Source Wall, which in the DC universe is what separates realities, to gain ultimate knowledge. Just as Darkseid was about to accomplish his goal, Orion hit him with a blast of Astroforce that repelled Darkseid from the barrier. He then began to fall back to Apocalypse, growing larger and larger in size with each passing moment. Agents on the ground thought that he was some sort of attack and fired an experimental uni-cannon, destroying him. The Huntress then asked if Darkseid was killed, then who was behind the threat on New Genesis? Mr. Miracle wonders the same and hopes that is what they can learn at the old Imperial Palace. Someone contacted the Injustice Society and they must learn who and why. Elsewhere in Armageddon, which is described as an urban cancer with the stench of 100 fire pits, we see troopers arrive at the entrance of the barracks with a prisoner. They say that they caught him nosing around the power depot and that they are bringing him to the commander. One of the guards makes a mama crack, and Oberon blows his cover by kicking the soldier in the shin. Just when one of the shock troopers is about to teach Oberon a lesson, we see another trooper's hand begin to glow with green energy, apologizing for spoiling his fun. A giant green boxing glove knocks the guard down and subdues the other, preventing him from calling for assistance. Since their cover is blown, they find no point to stay in character and return to their normal attire. Green Lantern jokes with Oberon for acting out, but he replies that a man has to defend their mama. Joking aside, Dr. Fate tells them to get back in the game and to concentrate on getting through the gate so they can free the citizens that are being held there. Fate speaks an incantation and blasts open the doors. Lantern and Fate fly in and find Royal Shock Troopers waiting for them. Hal asks Fate if he's even sure that this is the right place, and he answers, not 100%, but this is one out of the 4 locations Metron named, and there's only one way to find out. Green Lantern thinks up a giant saw and opens up the top of one of the barracks, but there are no prisoners to be found. The Royal Guard begins to fire upon them. With another construct, Lantern picks up what he has cut off and smashes it to the ground, putting the enemies out of commission. Dr. Fate tries to locate the captives by reciting a truth-seeking spell and succeeds, making their prison plain to see. With the location, Lantern starts to break through the wall. A weakened Dr. Fate tries to keep the soldiers at bay, but urges Hal to hurry. Seconds later, Green Lantern busts through the wall. Hal thinks to himself that whoever is being held here must be important if they warrant a whole barracks full of guards. Inside is dark, but he can see someone moving around, so he lights up the room so they can see. He is shocked and can only reply with an, "Oh my lord," and we have to wait until the next issue to find out what it is. We are now taken to the outside of a Granny Goodness's prison orphanage where Scott Free and Big Barda were raised. Inside, we see the children of New Genesis marching in single file up the stairs. This is where children are taught the perverted morality of Darkseid's dominion and their spirits crushed. And those whose spirits cannot be crushed find themselves punished. 2 giants walk a child to the punishment machine in chains for simply growing flowers on the drilling field. As shadowy figures fly in undetected, the giants continue to scold the child and are about to strap him in the machine for punishment. Suddenly, we see a golden lasso wrap around one of the giants' neck. Wonder Woman snaps back and pulls one of them down as Barda punches out the other man. Barda informs Superman and Wonder Woman that everything she knows about violence she learned from people like these. One of them go for their weapon, but Superman fires his heat vision at the giant's holster and grips up the woman giant. Normally, Supes doesn't hit women, but says that there are no ladies here and flicks her in the chin, knocking her to the ground. Barda and Wonder Woman grab the child and make a run for it. Next, we are outside the construction site with Power Girl, Orion, and Firestorm flying above the immense site. It's here that most of the men from New Genesis were taken to help with the strange machine. Firestorm asks who those guys are on the control platform, and we find out that it's the Injustice Society. We have the Master of Darkness, the Shade, King of Ice and Frost, the Icicle, and the Maestro of Music, the Fiddler. As our heroes arrive on the scene, the Fiddler starts to activate the machine by playing a tune on his violin. The machine fires a giant beam of energy in the sky, and you can see an object forming in the middle where the rays converge. As Orion and Power Girl stare up to the sky, she asks, "What's wrong? You're pale and look like you've seen a ghost." Orion answers that he has, and continues by saying, "Don't you know what's happening?" Orion knows what's happening in the heart of that energy storm. It's Darkseid. Somehow they brought him back from the dead, and he lives once again. The 3 stare in shock and can't believe what's floating right in front of their eyes.
No wealth, no ruin, no silver, no gold. Nothing satisfies me but your soul. Well, I am death, none can excel. I'll open the door to heaven or hell.
This epic quest will continue in part 2 of this comic miniseries. Alright guys, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this installment of DC in Depth, and stay tuned for part 2 of our story coming soon. If you like this video, please give it a like, and for more in-depth videos about DC Comics, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm Zach B, and this has been DC in Depth.